imagine like something being created the way that things have been created. Like if you're saying it's pure chance or that it was just random, there you can tell factually that this earth and this world has a design, period.
Of
Like
course
you
it
look at the
does.
trees, you look at, yeah, it has a design.
Yeah,
When
but it
you,
wasn't
and mind you,
always like that. The design was not always like that. Again.
well, I mean, you have grass, you have trees. I mean, there was definitely a design from the beginning. Like the
Yeah.
world had a design, the earth had a
But the
design,
design
or
to
the sun had a
sustain life
design,
on those
the
grass
stars
and
had a design.
trees did not exist
Well,
back in
yeah,
the day.
but even beyond life though, like you look at the way that things look, like the way the
Hmm.
design is factually, like you have to like for someone to be so precise in something or for it to be a way, you would have to argue that there has to be a mind that had to have placed things in a certain way for it to be where things aren't destroyed. Because if you're saying like if you take this one thing and you just move it just like this, or the earth was just a little bit closer and we're cooked, if you're saying that, then it's like, bro, like random process would have cooked everything. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, that there had like without a
But are
mind
you are you
to be
saying that
behind a.
just
Yeah,
to
go
get it?
ahead.
So are you saying that God directly put the exact thing that tilt on the earth to sustain life? Are you saying that?
Yeah, I believe that
Okay.
God genuinely has
So
created
yeah.
everything the way that He's made it, especially with the planets, with the stars, with all of that.
Have you weighed out the possibility of the other side, like at
What do you
any point
mean?
in your life? Like the other side would be the one I've just mentioned that there was
Oh,
a
what you
pro.
said, your
Yeah,
perspective. Yeah, I mean, so I'll tell you this. I
you
mean, like
have
I've like you're weighing out your perspective and what you're saying right now.
like testing it with the perspective you hold as your everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't always believe this, like at all. Like I didn't always believe this. I mean, in fact, I tried everything in me to prove against it because when I was younger, when I was 15 actually, I was just trying to figure out what the truth was. And I went to a lot of possibilities. So I studied a lot of philosophy. I went into a lot of different like religions, and I'm like, bro, at this point, like, I don't even think Christianity is true. Despite Christianity, I don't even know if God is real. Like, what does like I'm basically going down everything that you're even mentioning right now with all of this, which is why I'm able to bring it up from like the back of my head because there is a lot of these arguments that I would bring to myself to really ask, like, what factual evidence is there to prove that there even is a God? Because I don't want to waste my life. You know, like if I'm going to give my life to this, I don't want to waste it. So, how is this real? And I had doubts. And now that I'm, where I'm at now, at least in the way that I've come to the worldview that I'm at now, it took a lot of challenges and a lot of conversations like these. And it took a lot of like just studying to kind of get to where I am. But again, like I'm
Right.
I'm open-handed as it is. Like I'm not necessarily like the only reason I'm convinced is that as much as I've studied this, I haven't really, even in the other ways, I was, because one thing about me, I will look at something, I'll look at a logical stance, right? And through looking at a logical stance, I'm like, okay, what flaw could possibly be in this stance? What flaw could possibly be in this principle that I'm upholding to? Like, if this is
Like, but what
truly
logic
what it
though?
is, no, I'm saying like if this is truly what it is, what holes are in this logic? Like for example, like
Hmm.
what could possibly be what's the other side, like you just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to go down that rabbit hole. And of course, like I still research, I still study, right? But ultimately, I would say that with the evidence that's there, with two things, I think the cosmological argument is a huge one. But I also think just the way that the universe was made in such a specific way, I think even in that, like there's a huge purpose behind that, and the way that it is, the fact that again, it's like if something even were to be off or just different things were to be off, which it's possible with things being random, I just think that there has to be a mind behind that, because there's no way that without a mind or without a certain thing being behind it, there's no way that it can be so specific and precise. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like there has to be a mind for something to be so precise. There's intelligence behind the way that this creation is. Hopefully I'm making sense of what I'm saying and it doesn't sound like I'm talking in circles. There's thought behind it, there's a preciseness behind what's made. Like when you look at a painter, for example, right, and a painter's they're making a painting or whatnot, there's intelligence behind what's being painted, right? There's a preciseness to what's being painted. You're being very specific on what you're painting. So like there's a creator to that. You will not look at a painting and say, oh well, that's crazy how it just got there. Like it just placed itself there. You know that there was somebody that created it. And it may sound cliche, like you probably heard it before, but I mean, what else could you, how do you know the universe is a painting relevant to this context? I mean, I
Like,
think you can apply it the same way because again, like you have to really think about the way nature came about with grass, the way nature came about with water, the way nature came about with all of these different things. Like that, of course, weren't, I guess, man driven or man made at all, or even just beyond humanity or beyond the existence of man. Like when you think about how these things come about, I mean, honestly, you look at
okay, can I
nature,
ask you a
art.
question, please?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're the Christian God to, like humans. Like, do you compare the two?
What do you mean?
Like, do you compare God to like human like attributes?
Compare? Like, are you saying that are they
Like, do
sorry, try
you
to
person
reiterate what you mean.
like do you personally like say like if I don't do like if I wouldn't do this, God wouldn't do this. You know, like
I
if
believe
I
God
didn't
has
think a
given
certain
people
way, God wouldn't think a certain way.
I believe that God gave people their own personal mind to make their own decisions.
No,
You
I'm
know,
saying, do
like
you personally like do that?
do I personally do that?
Yeah,
Like if God wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do it.
yeah, essentially. Like, do you put human like characteristics to this all-knowing, all-powerful entity
To a
that you
certain
call
degree, like when Jesus would
you
say
do?
like I won't
Like,
say
no, not
anything unless the
Jesus,
Father
not
says it.
not Jesus, because you will have to do that because Jesus is like the human flesh version of God. So not Jesus, God.
Then I would say to a certain degree, yeah. Like what and the only
Yeah,
reason I say Jesus is because Jesus is God in human flesh. At least the
yeah,
way I believe it.
like yeah, it is like spiritually they're the same, but physically they're not, right?
Yes, that's right.
So when I was hearing you talk, it was a lot of like you. I know you just said you did this, but like a lot of Christians say that they don't do that and it shouldn't be done. Of you to view God, not Jesus, view God in a way like human like because he can never be a physical thing that one can understand. That's what I get from not even just Christians, just like people who believe in Abrahamic religions. They say that I can never understand God because I'm a human being. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard that before?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know why you've been doing that because with the precise thing when you're saying everything's so precise because if it wasn't then we'll be dead. You're only thinking from your perspective because you just said, "Oh, I couldn't comprehend because everything's so precise." Right? So if you Christians feel like you can never comprehend God, I don't know why you guys get this notion of God from a concept in your head that you feel like
Yeah.
won't be done in a human like perspective or anything on this
Yeah.
earth perspective.
Yeah, I hear you. Let me say something to that. So I think two things can be true at once. I think you're right that I can't fully comprehend God. I don't think anyone can, but like does not do you would are you saying that not fully understanding something doesn't mean that you can't know anything true about it?
Like I'm not saying fully, I'm saying like well, I am saying fully, not like half and half.
Yeah, no,
Like Christians
yeah,
say they cannot never understand God's ways because he's God and I'm below God.
I don't believe that. Because the
Okay.
Bible says different about that. I believe that you can to a certain degree understand the ways of God because he reveals it to you, right? Because like for
Right.
example, I don't fully understand consciousness. I don't fully understand gravity. I don't fully understand the universe. But there's still many true things that you're going to know about them. So
Yeah, but does
there's
that come from God? Like, have you ever heard those things coming from the Bible directly?
through in terms of God revealing his attributes and his character and who he is, yes, the Bible does. Like
So
he literally
mention
says, I will
gravity.
reveal myself to you. You know what I'm saying? Biblically, at least.
No, like the things you literally just mentioned, like gravity. Like, has God ever mentioned gravity in the
No,
Bible?
no, no. I'm giving that. I was just giving an example. Like you're not gonna fully understand everything, but you can still know something true about it.
Right, but if God doesn't inherently like say those things in the Bible or give you any type of just inside the Bible where you're getting this info, then why do you still apply things that are not mentioned by God in the Bible to God?
Well, I'm looking at the evidence of creation, and of course, the Bible speaks about creation and the way the world
Obviously,
was
yeah.
made, and
But
that
like
worldview.
but
But
God has
without using
never
the Bible, oh, go
yep.
ahead.
But in the Bible, God has never Pacific, like not even Pacific. God has never mentioned the tilt thing that me and you were talking about. Like if the Earth was tilted a certain way, life wouldn't exist. Science brought that into the equation. So, like this, is how I look at it. If God never mentioned that in the Bible, that in particular, I don't know why you're applying something that God could have done. There's no way without God being involved. If God never mentioned that in the Bible. So if God
Yeah.
So if I was you,
So
I'd be like, okay, this will be false because God never mentioned something like that. So I don't know where
yeah.
they're getting this from.
So do you
So
think science and God are competing against each other? I
yes,
think that I think theism and science can work together because science will
I think
say, how does it work? But then theism says, why does it exist at all? You know what I'm saying? Like theology explains why, or I guess theism explains why, and then science explains how does it work? Like what is the thing
so.
behind this thing?
If they
You know
weren't
what I mean?
competing, then science would be for God, and people who are under these religions would be for science. But a lot
Well,
of
you know,
those people
there's Christian
aren't, and
scientists, and then
science.
there's also scientists that are unbelievers as well. Like
There
scientists are
is
people.
just because there are some scientists that believe religion doesn't mean those things don't go against each other because there's a lot of things that people are in but that it doesn't they're not for them. There's a lot of people who are um, BLK who voted for the current president, and obviously they don't go together, so obviously they're competing against each other, especially if one is not even one but both are denying each other's existence. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
So obviously they're
I see
not
what
running
you're
in the same
saying.
race if science literally says that we cannot prove God whatsoever.
So there's a lot of things to that, like because you're saying that science and God, or at least science and theism, the study of God, goes against like each other, but because science studies the
Yes,
natural world, and God is not a part of the natural world. I believe He's the
exactly.
creator of it. You know what I mean? Like,
But he formed the
so
natural world, apparently. So he
yes, He
is
formed
would
the
be the
natural world.
natural world or associated with the natural world because he
No, He's
formed
not.
it.
He's not. God is not in it. He made
No,
it.
I
You know what I'm
know.
saying? Like
He
that's
but
separate
he is
from Him.
associated with it because he made it.
I mean, in association, I mean, yeah, I mean, he made the world.
Yeah.
Because again, like science will say, okay, how does stars form? How does DNA replicate? How does gravity work? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But theism is like, why? Like, why is the universe
And
intelligible? Or
always those questions are
why is
answered and science never fully give an answer to things that they're not for sure about. But that's another inconsistency I feel like in the Bible. Like, if everything in the Bible can just give you direct answers, well, not really direct, but gives you answers, then it cannot be true. Like, I feel like I'm telling the truth, but there's some things that I cannot answer, like
yeah,
science, and they're not saying this is the answer. Then it's been proven false later. Like they wait
yeah.
out their
So
outcomes before they come out fully and say this is true. Like the Big Bang, for example.
yeah, so I guess I'll leave it here, and then I will, so I think some other people wanted to get on too. Um, if okay, so if God created the universe, I'm just going to
He
give you
got
this example.
clowned.
What what scientific experiment per se would you expect to detect him directly? Like if God created the universe, what kind of scientific study would you expect to detect him if he were real?
None, because he would not be real.
Okay, so does that mean that science can only study physical things?
Yeah.
So, okay. So if God is by definition not a physical object within the universe,
Well, I
then
can
science
contest to
wouldn't be
that.
the tool. Then, oh wait, I was gonna say then science wouldn't be the tool designed to detect him directly. You know what
No,
I'm
at
saying?
all though. Like at all. And I get what you're saying, but it's just like at the end of the day, if that were to be true, like then you must have like an understanding of people who need those kind of evidence and can never get that kind of evidence because he can never be detected.
Yeah. So
Like that
again,
would be
like
the thing that people need, and no, it cannot ever be achieved, and that's why we have people like me who exist.
yeah. So like for example, like you have Isaac Newton or just different scientists that we're studying science or we're just studying different things and they've come across things where they're just like, wow, like even in the way that this works, I wonder how this could be. But that's more of a mix of science and philosophy. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, obviously, like they're
yeah.
not like there's a lot of bizarre
Well, yeah.
things.
Some of them are.
There's a
Some of
lot
the
of bizarre
scientists are at
things that
least.
don't make any sense, like what's going on outside of the universe, but that doesn't mean like God would be the answer for something like that. They'll just find the answer, like a black hole, for
I would
example.
I would just say because I'm not saying for you to reject science. I'm just saying like
Yeah, no.
consider that if you're expecting science to answer questions that lie beyond its scope, then you would have to go further.
For
Like,
right now, yeah, but not in general.
yeah, because science doesn't cover the scope of why things are the way they are.
Yeah,
It only
no, science
covers.
has discovered most of those things, but science cannot answer every single question. That's when people run into problems. It's just like they have so much questions about everything, but not everything can be answered for the things that
Right,
we have now.
exactly. Yeah,
But that
but
answer is cannot be something that can never be proven, which would be God.
yes. Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
yeah, but I guess I'll just leave it there.
yeah,
Um I would say that I guess, more so personal to me, but I would say
right.
like I don't think, you know, how do I put it? I just think that it's the best evidence that points towards the best explanation for reality. That's the best way I can put it. Like the best words, because I almost had a lack of words, but like that's the best way I can put it. Like if the universe had a beginning, and then the universe is, I mean, fine tuned for life, and then there's an objective morality that exists, right? And then there's a lot of different things, and then of course the historical evidence surrounding Jesus, but if science only explains the how questions, but it doesn't answer why anything exists in the first place, like, of course, no argument is going to force belief, but I do believe the evidence makes faith in God intellectually reasonable.
Okay.
And then for me personally, like I mentioned before, like, of course, like I've experienced it, right? But of course, for you, you said in your five senses you haven't, which for me, I do pray that you do. You know what I'm
Like the
saying? Like,
general
if that's a
sense, like
desire you
not in the
have,
spiritual. You said only through spiritual, so
well,
you haven't did it with
only
your
through
five
only through
senses either.
spirit, only through spiritual, but I actually have felt. I like I've so when you said that I was like, I don't know how she's probably gonna think this. I've tangibly felt, like the presence of God before.
So like in a
Like
physical way,
bodily.
right?
Yes, exactly.
But
I've
God can
literally
never
felt the
be
presence of God
physical,
bodily.
right? So this is where I get confused, right? Because God can never be experienced because he can never be physical. Only Jesus was. So I don't understand how you feeling God in that sense. But it's
Well, God
okay.
can, so yeah, yeah. So the reason why God can do anything, or even in that sense,
So he
is though he's
can do
spirit.
anything.
Absolutely,
So he
100%.
choose when he can do anything,
When not
essentially.
choose. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, he has the ability to choose when he wants to do something. Like he doesn't have to, he wants to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because like he's not gonna
Yeah,
force
obviously.
himself on someone because it's
Yeah, of
just
course
not.
not. I
Yeah,
wouldn't think so.
that's Yeah, it's
But
just not the way that.
he can choose
Uh-huh.
and want to express his likeness through other people who disagree, like myself. But he's never done that before. So I'm just very
He's
confused. Like,
proven
why would he not choose to do that?
it's not that he doesn't want to, it's that there's an
Oh, okay.
availability that you have to be able to do that for you.
Right.
Does
And
that
who
make
said that
sense?
I'd never
Like
done
he's
that
not.
before? Like, in your
And even if
worldview,
you have, no, no,
yeah.
no. And even if you have, right? And you had moments where you were trying to experience him and then it didn't happen. It's not that number one that because biblically, right? Let me lay it down like this. The Bible says that God wants his people to number one, hear his voice, number two, to experience his presence, and number three, that he genuinely wants to reveal himself to his people and just to those who believe. There's a lot of different factors on, or reasons. I can't like give you one conclusion on why you may have not felt him when you were seeking him out, but because there
Right.
could be
Like,
there can be
honestly.
there can be a lot of things, right? But like, can I tell you that I've also had moments where things were dry even before I experienced them? Yeah. There are moments
Yeah.
where like I genuinely it was dry, I didn't feel anything. I'm asking to experience his presence and I didn't get anything and then I would doubt, but along the way, even when I wasn't expecting it, I was able to experience the tangible presence. So, I would say it's possible, but that's only to my personal experience. And it's only
Right.
to, of course, according to what the Bible says. But I will say that if that is something that, at least deep in your heart, that you still desire, I do believe that that's something that he can let you experience if you wanted to, even right now.
Right. And is that your, like, last thing to say to me?
Like that he would want to, he would want
Yeah.
to, let you experience his love. Yeah.
Right. So, can I say one more thing to you?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
So, in your worldview, I do kind of sort of appreciate it, but then it will also very discredit the things that I've done. So, in my worldview, I really hope that, like, not to be disrespectful, but like, you
No, no,
really,
no, that's okay. I'm not offended at all.
yeah. Oh, okay. But
Yeah, you can be honest. It's okay.
I really hope you find like yourself because I feel like when you encounter God, you always do things for Him and you never do it for yourself. And that's only the thing that you're living for today. Because if you
I
didn't,
see.
then you would have just yourself and just met God already, even if it would have been a sin. So if you weren't really doing it for yourself, then you wouldn't be here living through your
Yeah.
body. So I really hope you find the truth of the matter and people stop teaching this to other people because this is just getting a mess.
Yeah.
But
Can I say one more thing to that though?
nope,
I'm so
nope.
sorry. I know you're the host.
But I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a lovely day. Okay?
Okay, you too. Thank
Yeah. So it looks like you're back up. What do you have to say?
Bro, why do you come on here every single day like doing
I
this?
don't
Like
come in
it's
here
not real.
every day, but it's most actually. It's most
What are you
days.
doing? What are you doing from us?
Well, I actually can't share that, but it's not what you seem, or what it seems like.
Okay, because I'm not a Christian, right? But like,
Right.
I just see you in here, and it just makes me think like, are you like a demon? Because I'm very
Am I like
confused
a
to be
who?
honest.
What?
Are you a demon?
So if I was a that, then I would probably be under the Christian faith, trying to lure people, while because they will most likely listen to what I'm saying, being the same
Not
faith as
really.
them. Yeah,
Not really.
it would be most likely rather than being a
You're
whole
also
different
driving on
thing,
the
where
you're also
most of them
driving
still don't turn out to believe anything I'm saying. So I don't
you're also
know.
driving them away.
But you
Like
like that's really disrespectful that you feel like I'm a demon because I disagree with you. Like that's
no, no,
really
no. I'm not a
like they
Christian.
would
I'm not
call me a sinner, not a demon, but
I'm
hey.
not a Christian. I don't know what you're talking about. I
So
just
if
see you every
no, you
day,
don't have to be a
so
Christian.
that's
Like a demon will still apply to like every religion. There will be some type of thing.
I'm not any religion, so it doesn't matter. But
So you still think I'm a demon, really? And you're not any type of religion?
at this point,
Wow.
you might, because I don't understand why you're on here every single day saying this. Like,
I'm
what do
not
you
here
actually do?
every single day though. Like I
You
might be
literally
here
every.
every time that you're on, but it's not every single day unless you're on here
Are
every
you
single day. Are you
are
on
you
here every
still
single
doing?
day?
Are you still doing the same point as well? That you can't sense him, so he's not real.
Well, that's the only thing. Well, that's the last thing I interpreted when it came to God. So yeah, I would still be using it.
But didn't we like already like
But
debunk this?
if you don't believe God, like, why are you trying to argue,
No,
like,
because
with me
I
about it?
don't believe God for
Like,
like
why
different
would you
reasons.
waste your time? Like, you already
You don't,
agree with me.
so you're gonna interrupt me. You don't believe God for like a stupid reason. Like it doesn't really make
If you
sense.
feel like that's stupid, then hey, I guess you
No,
do.
but I'm saying, like we already said this before. You can't see atoms, you can't see particles, but like you
I did.
still know that's
I explained that to you. You can see atoms, okay? You absolutely can. Through a scientific medical device. Are you like in middle school or
yeah,
high
no,
school? I'm not
no,
sure.
no. I
Did you go
agree.
to
Yeah,
those things yet?
hold
So
on,
if
hold
you
on.
agree with me, why are you bringing
Listen,
it up again?
you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not
No,
listening.
I feel
So
like you're not
obviously
listening.
they're real. Obviously they're real, right? Particles and atoms are real. That's what I'm saying.
No, but that wasn't what you're saying. You were like, how come we see atoms? But I literally just explained how can we see it, then you want to bring it up again. I don't understand that. But okay. That
Yo,
doesn't
it's
make any
good.
sense. Hello.
Yo, I low
Yeah.
key agree with your take.
What'd you say?
Why? Like, I low key agree with your take
Why
on
is it
the
not a
top.
high key?
What do you mean?
You said low key, so why wouldn't it be a high key?
Nah,
So
because
there's
high key's
something.
OD. I mean, there always has to be something because religion was made way before science and everything. So there had to be a
Exactly.
reason for why grass was green, the world was round, the
If it
animals were
was a reason,
made.
they didn't put it in there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we
Hmm.
have all this science and stuff. I'm an atheist, but
Okay.
there's all this science, all this everything, even the Big Bang. We don't know why though. So the only
Yeah, but
reason we
not
could say
every,
is
like, do you honestly
chance or
think it's,
God.
like, since you don't believe in God, so you can probably answer this reasonably, but do you honestly think that kind of question to everything could be answered? You honestly
What
think
do you
that
mean?
kind of question, it's not like if the sky's blue, like the question of, like, what created everything? You really think someone
Yeah,
can sickly answer that? Like, you really think that could be answered? You really think so?
I have no idea. Wait, what are you talking about?
Did you not hear me? I just said it 2 times. Did you not hear me?
Dude, what are you talking about?
Okay, so I guess you didn't.
No.
Uh, so what I'm saying is, like, these people want an answer to the question of what started everything, not the Big Bang, right? What started everything? So I'm asking you, like, do you honestly think, with the levels that we are right now, or just like any type of level, that an animal race on a planet can answer that question? You really think so?
Dude, what question? What are you talking
I
about?
just said it. Did you not hear me? I literally just said it.
You're being too vague. Like I'm genuinely trying to
The
understand what
answer
you're
to
saying.
everything. The answer to
Okay, the
everything,
answer to
like every
everything.
planet, every galaxy,
You mean the meaning, like the
everything.
answer of like why life
The
exists or
answer of
consciousness?
everything. It's not life, because we're the only living things that we know of. So it's not life, because there's a lot of things that don't live. I'm just saying, like, to everything, it's not broad, that would be everything. So the answer to what's the answer to everything? You think that could
I
be
mean, there's an answer to
answered?
everything. You could say like 2 + 2 is
No, I'm
4.
saying, no,
The
I'm
sky
saying,
is
of
blue
course
because
there's
of
an answer.
reflections.
Of course there's an answer, but do you think a human, an animal species on a planet can answer that, which is humans?
I mean, we
You think
could.
that can, no. I mean, like, no. I mean, if we were internal, not internal, if um, we lived for infinity, yeah, that could possibly be answered. But we haven't been on this planet for very long to answer that question. No, we haven't. So I'm fine with saying I don't know, because nobody knows the answer to that question, and it's perfectly fine. And you don't have to run around like a headless chicken trying to find out uh, what's the answer to everything existing today. Like, no, I'm perfectly fine not knowing that. And you are too. Hey, Garfield.
Hello, how are we?
I'm not doing good.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So you don't believe in God, huh?
No, I don't.
Okay. Any major reason why? except the one you were already given?
Well, yeah, but the one that, because there's plenty of reasons why I don't believe in God, but the main reasons, what it came down to at the end of the day, is I've never heard, seen, touched, tasted, and smelt Him, and those will be my five senses. And I use my five senses to determine everything I know today, whether it be fake or real. I determine those things with my five senses. So if I can't determine that, then it must not be real to me. So that's why.
Okay.
So why do you believe
So-
in God, Garfield?
Well, the reason I believe in God is that, well, it's twofold, really. I believe in the historical validity of the New Testament, and I also believe that I have had a direct experience of the love of God through worship and prayer. Now, to get back to...
Well, I would love to ask you a question if you can't think of
No,
something
sure,
at
go
this
ahead.
moment. So, can I just ask, just before I ask you this question, like, what is your religion?
I'm a Christian.
So, can God be physical other than Jesus?
What do you mean by physical?
Well,
Like,
physical,
does it exist in the material world, you mean?
correct.
Well, no, God
So,
is material.
I know that, but what you just said that I've experienced a personal, direct thing, which is what you consider worship and prayer, that would be physical in this world. So if God is not that, then I don't
Well,
know why you feel like
necessarily.
He could classify. So then it would not be. So you not experience God in that sense, then.
Well, I mean, he's
Have
not
you?
literally showed up in front of me now, but
No, but when you mean
Uh,
by worship and prayer, like I mean, like I
yeah.
expecting that's what you mean, worship and prayer.
Well,
So when you do those things, because you said that you've experienced
Mhm.
God, but God cannot be
Mhm.
physical in this kind of world, like you just said.
Yeah.
So I'm confused now.
I haven't experienced God materially, no. But
Okay,
I've
so you haven't
experienced.
experienced Him.
Well, no, I think there's
You
plenty
can
of
probably
experience.
hear His teachings through a book inspired by
No,
Him, but you've never experienced
I
Him.
no, I think there's plenty of experiences that people have, including you, that aren't material, but they're
No,
still
there's
experience.
not, though.
There's
There's
not.
not.
So,
But
would you
those
say
things have to
you?
trigger something, and they have to be
No.
physical.
Well, I was just about to make the point that You Are Cared For has made
I don't
in the
believe in
comments.
love.
You've never experienced love.
We'll get into that another day. What were you saying?
Well, you kind of have to get into it now because it's kind of the point I'm making. Is
Okay, I'll
that
get
love
into it
is
after I'm done. I'll get it when I'm done with. Well, when you're done with, which we were just talking about, physical.
Yeah, and I'm saying I haven't experienced God physically, but I've still experienced Him. I don't think
So
it.
if you're a human, right?
Yeah,
So
I think
there's
so.
no
Not quite
way.
yet.
Yeah. So there's no way you can experience something outside of this world.
Why not?
And if you have, and if that answer is God, then He will have to come in a physical sense to you.
No, not really.
So then that would mean, if you said no to that, then you can experience things outside of this plane. Is
You
that
can
true?
experience things outside of the material
Wait,
world. Yeah,
no.
of course.
No, I personally
Everyone does.
can't. I
You
can't.
do. When you experience love, when you feel
I
love for
don't.
something,
I don't.
that is an
But that
experience that
isn't.
you
Wait, but that
experience.
is what people consider a person.